right. Welcome back to another episode of Totally Clutch. This is the Clutch Businesses podcast and vlog, and I'm Angie Veman, your host. Today, we've got an amazing guest with us, and we're going to be talking about how to create offers that sell. And I know that there's a lot of conversation about how do we market, how do we spread the word, what are we doing on social media, all of those types of things. And today we're going to kind of go back to the beginning and figure out how to put together offers that people are kind of intrinsically interested in and actually need. So you're fulfilling a need for them. So our guest today is going to help us understand at a deeper level how to take customers and how to take them from just buying our products to buying, loving, and spreading the word about the offers and the services that we're selling. So, it takes, I think everybody in business knows this. I don't know that we always remember it, but it takes so much more time and energy. It takes so many more resources to find new customers and new clients than it does to kind of reap and sow the relationships that you've already built. So the people that have already come to you, the people that are already interested in what you have to offer, why not turn them into your own personal brand ambassadors? Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today. And so I've got Melinda Colon here, and she's a marketing wizard, right? So she's going to talk to us about all of these things, how to really, really harness those relationships that we've already worked so hard to make and create. So welcome to the show, Melinda.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Yeah, we're pumped. I mean, so I'm sure that you've got a whole business built around it, but marketing is such a hot topic, and
Yeah.
it's always, these are always the episodes that people listen to the most and watch the most. And so I love the idea that we're kind of, I know that it all fits together, right? It's kind of marketing has to be a start to finish kind of conversation, but I love that we're going back to the beginning and talking about the offers themselves and how to really tap into our ideal clients and what they need. So with that, do you want to give us a bit of background about you and how you came to do the work that you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been a brand and marketing strategist for over 18 years in corporate. And I've always had a love for the story, really engaging and connecting with people and understanding, what really engages them and connects them with either a product or service or something, just to get that end result where we're all looking for that experience. So I've been in corporate for a really long time, and while I was in corporate, I was developing, major multi-million dollar, billion-dollar contract proposals that were bidding against other, like-minded firms for big private and public commercial projects in the construction industry. And I learned a significantly amount of information about what it takes to really connect with people and engage with them in a way that they're looking for you to do. It goes beyond just, marketing goes beyond just putting something together and telling a story about you. It has a lot to do with how your story connects with the end user, how that story connects with that, prospective buyer. And when I was first starting my businesses, I just thought, well, I'm not capable of doing that. And of course, marketing as a marketing professional in corporate, I thought to myself, I can't do this for anybody except for corporate. And I can definitely not do it for myself. That imposter syndrome that we all have. It never goes away. We just learn how to handle it. And I learned quickly, just, going out into the entrepreneurial space, that I am not alone. And actually, there's a lot of people that are missing steps along the way. I was always somebody that was really interested in, helping people. So I can give you a story about when I mean, this was years ago. This was probably 7 or 8 years ago, where I walked into Ulta, and I was just talking to the makeup artist, and she was trying a swatch on my face, and I was like, "You're so good! Like, how did you match me up so quickly?" And she, gave me her, her experience, her expertise, and it was just so spot on. And it really made me think about, oh my gosh, this person is, has an opportunity to share and teach other people. And so I sat there and gave her a free consultation. At the time, I didn't think it was a consultation. At the time, I thought, I'm just sharing and helping somebody. I said, you should totally have a YouTube channel. And she was just like, yeah, I don't have the equipment. I said, well, you can get the equipment. You could totally rent the equipment. You can ask somebody online, that's in your neighborhood. Go to an art pro university that has like that type of equipment and just rent it out, or find someone to do it for you. Barter your services. You have a skill that you need to share with people. And I would do these type of things all the time. Like,
Yeah.
no one could take me anywhere, because I was like, you know what? Let me share with you this great idea. My hairstylist, makeup artist, like if anybody came to the house to fix something, I was like ready for them to learn something. It's just like, oh, you know what? I think I know somebody that would love your services. You really should create a
Yeah.
banner. Da, 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 because I really believe that a lot of us, more than we know, we have something that's really, created in us. It's God given talent that no one can take away from us. It's a superpower. I call them superpowers
Totally.
we because we're so good at them, we don't even realize how valuable they are. And so I said to myself, how do I take what I love to do, which is basically help people, and take my experience and then couple them together to really, build on a brand that's about me, about showing up and helping people like me who are afraid of, leaving corporate, who are afraid to start their own business, who have started their business and they're burned out because they need to do all the things, or they think they need to do all the things. How do I help those folks, those ladies, those men really get connected with creating something that is a lot more genuine than they think it needs to be, so that's a little bit of story about me. And the first thing that I did is, I went back to my clients who um, are in corporate, who I had created graphic design flyers and business cards years ago. And I said, hey, how's your marketing strategies? Is there anything that I can help you with? If there are any stories, any ideas that I can offer? And, like as far as like copywriting and whatnot. And they were just like, wow, thank you so much for asking. And, I would say maybe about 80% of those clients actually responded with thank you. And then they led on to becoming one of my agency clients. And the other 20%, they responded, but they didn't even know. They're just like, I'm not sure. I'm too busy. And I take that as full value, because my time was not wasted. I learned a lot about the people that I wanted to work with. And I learned a lot about how I can show up for them, because, taking the time out to ask a question actually goes a lot further than we think.
Totally. And I think that can even tie into marketing, right? I mean, you're
Yep.
essentially what you're talking about is, I mean, you're marketing yourself and, as you're building your business and things like that. But I think that's something that we've learned, over the last couple of years, like over and over and over again in marketing is like really like truly connecting. Like authenticity is like front and center stage, and that sleazy sales is out the door. Like you can't just sell. It's really about connecting. And
Yeah.
I think it's something, this hadn't really occurred to me before, but it is something that is, it makes owning a business, it makes it better. Like it makes
Yeah.
it more fulfilling for us, right? Like owning a business right now is not super stressful. I mean, I'm not somebody that has, a ton of, a huge staff and, a giant building that I'm trying to pay for and, a bunch of overhead and things like that. But, so I imagine if I had that, my stress level would be a little higher. But because you're truly able to connect with people, not only are you, you can draw in more customers and increase your revenue, but it also is like way more fulfilling
Yes.
as the owner, or as, somebody working in the business even.
Exactly. I mean, if we're all set out with a mission, that's one of the reasons why it's so important to start with a business plan, because we can identify what our mission, our vision, our values, our culture is going to be like. And, that actually gives you the momentum to keep going,
Mhm.
and really strive for something, for a goal, for milestones, for checking things off the box and saying, okay, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And it might not feel in the moment because you're just starting to get your feet wet. I mean, it's like I'm going back to the gym and I'm like exercising and I'm, doing like weights and everything. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so hard. And I can't believe it's so hard because I mean, a few years ago, it was easy. And I'm
Totally.
thinking to myself, you know what? It's because I need to work on it more. So I feel like entrepreneurship has been like that for me, and for a lot of the clients that I serve, it's just this muscle that we haven't really worked out before,
Yeah.
or we have and we forgot about it, and until the point where we're ready for the next step. And I think that oftentimes we feel like we need to do everything at once. We need to do the curls and the push-ups and the crunches and everything all in one workout. But the thing is we burn out faster. And that's why experts say work on one area at a time, one thing at a time. And it really does push you forward.
Totally. Yeah, that's amazing. I don't
Yeah.
think you're alone. I think everybody's feeling the gym burn a little more than they have
Yeah.
lately. That's awesome. So what does a business need to have in place for them to convert leads to sales?
Yeah, we need to really talk about this because I think that a lot of businesses, when I'm seeing in my clients and when I'm doing conversations with prospects online and in person, is that they're missing something. They're talking about their product or service as if they're the ones buying it.
Mm.
And I mean, I can't tell you and stress enough about how important it is to actually create the product or service for your audience, like not taking things, too personally about, oh, somebody doesn't like my colors and somebody said something about you know, how my questionnaire looked or my email signature. It's like you need to, and I say this a lot. You need to eat the chicken and throw away the bone. You need to take the things that are fulfilling and useful, and then get rid of the things that are not serving you, that are not offering any value to your business. Because you're a CEO. As an entrepreneur, you're a CEO of your business, even with $1 in the bank. And if you're driven to grow a business, it's important to know that you're having conversations with your clients, your ideal clients, your target audience, so that they can help you create a product and service that they're going to buy. And oftentimes when I'm having my one-on-one private coaching calls, my clients are like, "Wait a minute, I don't understand. So you're telling me that someone's going to tell me what to create?" I'm like, "Yeah, exactly." You know, if there's no demand for what your product or service, you offer, then it's going to be way harder for you actually to sell anything.
Mhm.
And if you don't know where that demand is, well, then how do you sell it? So instead of focusing so much on, I mean, if you're just this is like the asterisk exception for technology, because I think that technology changes so often. But if you are just a service-based business, a consultant, or a product-based business, you offer something that physically exists today and you're just rebranding it, whitelisting it, whatever, those exist. So you have to find out who your target audience is. And then from there, then you can really fine tune and polish your product or service so that it fits that target audience. I start out with my audience. So your ideal client is a lot more detailed than where they live, what they do for work. It goes down to the psyche. It's how many kids do they have? How long have they been at their job? Where do they live? And who lives in the home with them? Are they married? Are they single? How many people actually reside in their home? How often do they buy this product or service? that's also very important about pricing. That actually leads into pricing and quantities and packaging. But all of those questions that you need to ask yourself, what this ideal client would look like. And I promise you, I can guarantee they exist. I can guarantee they exist. The thing that you need to do is you need to start somewhere, whether it's social media, you go to in-person networking events, and just start asking questions. Seeing and hearing the responses, just the mannerisms and also the actual words, that they use, can actually help you significantly with identifying, okay, this is how I want to package my offer for them. This is the person I really love to work with. I would love to work with this person. How do I create something that's so tailored that they would want to buy it? And not only that they would want to buy it, but that they see that there's a value in it. Because a lot of times, especially in the consulting world, you'll see that clients or prospects actually compare you by price. But if you have a differentiator, that's a big word, but it's another way of saying what's different about you, what makes you stand out up above all the competition, that is really going to sing a lot brighter than anybody else in the room. And it's really important to think about those questions before you're even starting to talk about the offer itself. It's really, okay, so what's the demand? What's the need that people have? Are these the people that I want to serve? And how do I serve them? If you're creating, I use this example before a while back, and I said, uh, I would love to find a dressmaker who, and I think every woman in the world,
Love
I would
that.
love to find a dressmaker who I can just call and be like, I need a dress. It needs to be tan. It needs to be linen. And I would love it to be tapered on the shoulder. And I need it to have this, the thread needs to be like a dark brown, like down to the details.
Mhm.
And they just make it, right? That's
Yeah.
what I would love. And that there's a demand for it. And I don't want to pay an arm and a leg. And, I have just created a problem, and I have just said, I need someone to solve my problem. Now, is there a market for that? Yes, there is a market for that. And so taking the time to have a conversation with me, asking you, so what type of materials do you like? Are you allergic to anything? How much give do you like? What's the type of fit you like? All of those things, the style. Um, those questions are part of understanding your ideal client, because then you
Mhm.
say, well, I don't like to use linen. I don't like to use polyester. I don't. And so now you narrow down and say, I want to work with clients who love cotton. I want to work with clients who like, long flowing dresses. And now you have created your target audience profiling and your niche, because everybody wants to talk about your niche, right?
Yeah,
They're like, oh my gosh,
totally.
I need to figure out my niche. I need to figure out my niche. And the thing about it is, you can't figure out your niche until you figure out who you're selling to. So
Yeah.
once you figure out who you're selling to, you're profiling, your ideal client profiling, then you create this amazing offer for them, because it is niche down to really highlight who you are, what you do, and how you solve problems for specifically them. Now, what happens next? What happens next is we all think to ourselves, and I'm talking to you that's watching this video, you say, there's not enough people, or
Mm.
I can't find anyone to sell this to. This is a dud. I don't think so. I need to sell to the masses. I need to sell to anyone who could buy. And I'm going to be the tough big sister and say, that's the lazy marketing
Mm.
route. And the lazy marketing route is saying that you're going to take 10 more steps to find success than if you did it the right way and the way that I'm telling you to do it. It's just as simple as that. It's the lazy route is just waiting for things to fall into place, hoping for the best, crossing your fingers, and then you do all the things, you find burnout, then you have to go back steps, you might buy the wrong, buy a course and then you skipped over a couple of sections and you only want to focus on what you think you need. And I'm here to say that there is actually a process to how you build a marketing plan for your business. And it starts with your ideal clients. And once you've identified who that audience is, then you identify your niche.
Mhm.
Then you create the offer. The offer is all about the problem that you solve. So let me take a breath, because I know I said a lot of things, but
Yeah.
this is like my superpower. I love this stuff.
It's awesome. It's so great. I have just one question though, and maybe this will bring us back. Hopefully, it won't bring us back too far. But I guess the thing that I always am concerned about is, so I'm the type of person that, like, if somebody asks me, there are definitely things that I have a very strong opinion about, right? Like whether I like linen or whether I like polyester. There are certain things that I'm so crystal clear about. But oftentimes, um, people that are looking for a solution don't necessarily know what solution they're looking for. And
Great.
so asking them, specific questions like that, you might get like a I don't know kind of thing.
Yes.
Like, do you have any tips or tricks to help draw that kind of information out without making too much of an assumption, right? Because going back to what you said at the beginning, you don't want to assume what people need or want or is going to solve their problems. But how do you draw that information out without, or how do you draw that intel out of them without being too specific, or forcing them to be too specific?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm going to put it in the form of a scenario. So
Okay. Yes.
you're reaching out to 10 people. Okay. You reach out to 10 people and you get, typically you get about 20 to 30% response. So you get two or three people to reply back to you. Two people love your product. They go ahead and they press buy, right? Right in the moment. They go ahead and buy it, they see the value, they're connected, they're your ideal client. And then you got someone who's a one who just kind of just doesn't understand, might need some more information. I don't know. This is what you do. And, if you have an email marketing strategy set up, this is perfect for you because what you do is if they haven't bought yet, then you need to nurture them more. So if they haven't bought and you sent the link to them and crickets, you go ahead and you send another email saying, hey, you might not know what you want. Let's help you. Let us help you figure out if this is the right um, choice for you. This is why we have discovery calls, right? It's an interview between you and the client, and you're both interviewing each other. So that's what I would say is the biggest tip, the takeaway for situations where you run into a situation where the client who doesn't know whether or not it's the best fit or if it's the solution that they're looking for, is you just ask more questions and you give them more information. So this has a lot to do with how you create information that doesn't exist, is that you look at the pool of audience, eight people, the two or three people that actually responded and bought, and you see why they responded and bought. You can ask them, survey them, get their feedback, and you can use those responses as and put them into a reformatted question to those people that are unsure of themselves. Well, does this fit you? Maybe let me go into a more detailed example of that. So, those two or three people, they buy the green dress for Christmas, and, it's in style and all the fun stuff. And then you have someone who is not really sure if they want green or red or blue, and you don't really have what they want, but they don't really know what they need. So what you do is you ask a certain, certain prompts. You reach out to them, ask certain prompts, whether in email communication or in person or on the phone, and you say, "Hey, you know, would you like the green one? Because we hear that this is very form fitting and it's structured for your body, and it comes with pockets, and it's perfect for any occasion, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera." you start to give them more information about the product to help them to guide them to understand what is it, what is the
Mhm.
product that I'm buying, what is the service that I am signing up for, because oftentimes they don't even know what questions to ask.
Right.
So you have to put the questions out there in a form of, this is what it is. You have to kind of spell it out for them.
Yeah. So are you kind of you're using the people that already know, they've already got it figured out, they've definitely put some thought into this, or they're just really lucky to be decisive people. You're using that information to then start to draw out
Yes.
draw the others out and draw additional insights
Yeah.
from more people. That's really cool. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense.
And it's okay for people to say, you know what, this is not the thing for me. Because if it's not the thing for you, then I want to know. I want to know if I'm targeting and spending my money and time and energy focusing on the right audience, versus just sending it out to everybody and anybody. And hopefully something sticks to the wall. It doesn't.
Totally.
It doesn't work that way. It's really important to be comfortable as a CEO in your business with a little bit of rejection. Just seeing, like, again, chicken and the bone, throw away the bone, eat the chicken, because it really does make a difference when you take that as data, as actual data, and say, okay, you know what, this person, it took them 3 or 4 emails or 3 or 4 more touches to actually get them to convert into a buyer. Then maybe we need to set up a different survey, a different questionnaire at the end, so that we can find out, what was it that they really enjoyed, so that the next time you launch, the next time you go back and you revise your pricing, exactly where to adjust. You're not just like guessing at things.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really putting the personality back into, I mean, I think we have all of these tools now, and this is something that I find often with clients that I work with, is that we've got all of these tools, we've got all of these ways to automate our marketing and to, automate our interactions with customers, which is awesome because you can reach more people and you're not working around the clock. You don't have to hire more, right? Like it's awesome for so many reasons. And I think so many people are concerned that they're going to lose their personality. They're going
Yeah.
to lose their brand personality. They're going to lose that connection. And I think, I also think that, at some point in any business, in any, new, I guess, in any new way of doing business, you've got the people that are on the forefront of it that are kind of creating this new template that other people can follow. Then you have the time where everybody is following that template, like just like you said, you take a course, you follow it or you don't, right? So you've got the people that are following that, trying to recreate the magic that they created. And then you, like, at the tail end of it, you've got people that are like, look, you can't just do what everybody else is doing and imagine that it's going to work for you. You
Yeah.
have to infuse your personality into it. That's the way that I think about it. But what I'm getting from what you're saying is so great, that it's not about me. It's not about my personality being in there. It's about their personality being in there and speaking directly to them using their words. And what I love about the way that you're doing this is that and I imagine that maybe this is what you mean by, you have them become raving fans. It's this symbiotic relationship where
Yes.
they're your customers, you've got their ear, and so you start to pull information from them and then just feed it back to them and pull and feed and pull and feed, and they feel so freaking fulfilled, I bet, because you're answering all their prayers, you're giving them everything that they ever dreamed of, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
It's awesome.
I want to use another example is when we go to sit out at a dining restaurant, and we have a server is amazing, and they come by and they get our order, but they don't repeat it back. They just don't repeat it back. And we're like, did they get it? I don't know if they got it. Did they get it? I don't know if they got it. Versus, and they say, okay, you're getting the chicken with the broccoli and da 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 da, and you feel heard. You feel
Yeah.
like, okay, this is where I need to be. I know what's happening right now. Customers want control over the journey. They want to feel like they get to decide how they want it and when they want it. And it's hard for an entrepreneur to guess at that and feel like, they're doing the best in their business. They're growing their business. They can be profitable because it's hard to guess at things that don't exist unless you do the research.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I actually have my clients do as a homework, because I love giving homework,
Yeah.
and it's just a practice, it just helps people think about marketing in a different way, is doing some content research.
Mm.
So content research I like to do is go onto, Facebook or LinkedIn, wherever your clients hang out on social media specifically. And I want you to just scroll through the questions in the Facebook groups or the LinkedIn group. Just scroll through them and respond to them. Respond to them with your expertise, and then use your response as your social media content.
Mm.
Now, what happens is we get out of our heads. We get out of our heads about, oh my gosh, what am I going to post? What am I going to post? What am I going to post? And we actually create content that is engaged and specific to a target audience that has that specific question.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we take all of the stress and the anxiety around marketing, and now it's just a conversation.
Yeah.
So
It's huge.
it's a really good exercise, and I give that homework to everyone that's watching this, and I want you to do it for at least 10 different questions and responses. Take those responses and tailor them into social media content, and you have 2 weeks of content
That's
like that.
awesome. Yeah,
So
that's so cool. I love it.
makes it
I
easy.
actually do something similar. So I have a course, an online course that teaches people how to launch an online store in, like, I guess it's 6 hours total. You can
Wow.
have a live store. Yeah, it's super awesome. But one of the ways that I have them, or because I think a lot of people are like, how do I create content? How do I figure out what products to offer on my site? Whatever it is, and okay, so now I figured out what I'm initially going to offer, but how do I add to that? How do I switch things up? And I tell them to go into reviews or the chats of products similar to theirs, or if they've been live for a while, they can go into their comments and their reviews and see what people are asking for. So if you want to, I mean, this is for physical product, not necessarily services, but I mean, I think the rule is the same no matter
It
what it
works the same.
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that you want to start to make adjustments to things. Read what people are bummed out that isn't included in the one that you've got now, or something that isn't working right, or like a gap in information that they wish that they had filled, or something like that. It's so genius.
Mm-hmm. And it just simplifies things, right?
Yeah,
You're like, where do I get this information? Where do I find my clients? They're there. They're
yeah,
waiting for you. They're waving their credit cards at you. They're
totally.
waving them at you. They're like, hey, can you solve my problem? No. Can you solve my problem?
Yeah.
No. So you need to say, yes, I can. And this is how I can solve. So going back to the offers itself is, once you've done that research and you've engaged with them, you've answered questions that they have had that they haven't asked you specifically, but they have,
Mm-hmm.
then you can create the offer. As a service-based business owner, I have a virtual assistant agency, and I was sharing with you earlier that our team is growing, and we just put you know, um, a notice out to several different Facebook groups about connecting with some more subcontractors, etc. And I think that we wouldn't have been able to do that if we didn't know specifically what we offered
Mm.
and who we were offering it to. And every client that we have on the books, we are repeat clients.
Yeah.
So we're not re-engaging with new people. We do it because we want to. We want to grow. We've hit our milestone. It's only been 4 months and we've hit our annual milestone already.
That's
And
awesome.
I feel, yeah, so I feel so, ready and engaged to say, okay, I figured this out. This is real,
Mhm.
and I can solve problems for people. I can be a partner, a crucial and integral partner in helping someone else grow their business as well. And that's really why I started my, one-on-one private coaching, because I knew that I had the formula. I knew I had the formula, and I knew that the information out there on the World Wide Web mean streets
Yeah.
was just overwhelming, and you just don't know what to do because there's something new every day.
Yeah.
So that's why I created the marketing roadmap, because I wanted people to understand specifically that there is a process, and it has nothing to do with Instagram and LinkedIn. It's really understanding what marketing means. And then no matter what comes out, Clubhouse comes out, TikTok comes out, whatever platform then just shows up, you're ready for it, because you have an understanding of how to market as a rock star and become an amazing marketer for your business. Because at the end of the day, that's really is all about. You can create a business without and have great marketing and be a successful entrepreneur. And if you don't think that you need marketing in your business, just look at your numbers. I mean,
Yeah.
it speaks for themselves.
Totally, totally. That's amazing. Yeah, thank you so much for this. I mean, I think it's what I appreciate so much is, is kind of what you were saying about the online. You go into the web and you start to figure out how to solve these problems that maybe you're having in your business. And it usually comes down to marketing. And you're told all of these things. Start posting regularly, start doing this, start doing this, and if you don't have that solid message, or that message as a foundation to all of that, you're just spinning your wheels.
Yeah.
And I also appreciate the fact that everything that you've said is easy to implement. Maybe not easy. That nothing that we
It's
do is
easier.
super easy. Yeah. But you can implement it whether you have a customer base or whether you don't, because I think that's what holds a lot of people back from taking these steps, or from even starting a business, is like, I don't have anybody, like there's nobody here that wants this right now. I don't have anybody that I can reach out to, that I can touch, that I can talk to. And everything that you've said, works if you've been in business for 10 years. It also works if you have been in business for negative 5 days, negative 5 months, whatever it is, right? So that's awesome. And it also works whether you're an introvert or an extrovert.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
you can totally be an internet creeper and like it's anonymously be checking out what people are talking about, or you can really dive in and have that conversation. I would bet you're going to have some more meaningful takeaways if you dive in and are having the conversations directly.
Yeah.
But you can definitely start without having to step out from behind the curtain. So
Yes.
that's awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much,
Okay.
Melinda. How can people get in contact with you, or how can people find out more about what you offer, and how they can work with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you'll go to melindacolon.com, and you can actually take advantage of my free content pillars that drive conversion worksheet that will help you identify your 3 pillars for your marketing content that you should use not only in social media, on your website, on your blog, on your YouTube channel, everything. And it's really going to help you identify what your brand is, your marketing strategy, and all the fun stuff. So if you start there, I promise you that you'll make it somewhere in your business.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, and I put the link to that in the chat for anybody watching. And I've got your website up on the screen for anybody that wants to find out more. And thank you so much, Melinda. This was awesome. I mean, it was like packed full of information, and like I said, super easy to implement. Like, I mean, there are things that I am jotting down. I'm gonna do as soon as we get done here. So
Yes.
yeah,
The
thank you so
homework is,
much.
yes, the homework, at least do the homework, y'all. I mean, just 10 questions that are out there that are waiting for you to answer them. and just, take the time to really just read and listen to those questions. DM them, say, hey, can I DM you and ask more questions? They love that. We all
Yeah.
love that, right? We all
Yeah.
love that. So take advantage of those opportunities so that you can get the information you need to create offers that really sell.
Awesome. Thank you,
All right.
Melinda. I am so grateful, and yeah, and I know that everybody listening and watching is grateful too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye.
Bye.